Alrighty, so now we're going to be looking at Unit 4, Notes number 8. And our goal for today will still be, like I said in our last set of notes, we're still writing equations. So I will be able to write the equation of a linear function. All right, so that's going to be our goal for today. Okay, and so yesterday we did that with the slope in a point. So today we're going to look at what happens if we're not given the slope. So I want us to first list some things we can do with 2 points. So some things that we can do if I give you 2 points. Okay, you should be thinking we can graph them. That's supposed to be an H, and that's supposed to be an M. Sorry, guys. That's supposed to be an H again. Okay, so we can graph them. We can find the slope. Remember, you can use this either your slope equation or make a table. We're going to be making tables today just because that's what I like. I feel like it's a little bit faster. Okay, let's see here. What else can we do with 2 points? You can graph them. Okay, you can find the slope. That's really about it. So today we're going to look at what happens if I give you 2 points. Okay, and I need you to write the equation. So today we're going to talk about how can I write the equation from 2 points. All right. So looking at our process, it is a 4-step process. Okay, so to write the equation of a line, at the very least, we need 2 points, bare minimum 2 points. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, step number 1, is label the 2 points. This is going to be really important if you're finding the slope using the slope formula. So step 1, label the 2 points. So we got x1 and y1, x2 and y2. Okay, so label the points. We did that. Well, that was an ugly arrow. All right, step number 2, find the slope using the desired method. Okay, so that's step 2. We're going to be using a table. If you use the slope formula though, remember your slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I do not care which one you use, okay? I used to always use the slope formula, but now I'm like, why would I do that when the table I feel is a lot quicker? You might really like the formula and that is okay. Okay, so we're going to be using a table. So we're going to make our little table. Remember, it goes x and y. And we're going to plug in our points. So we're going to have 4, 5. And I think the other point was 6, 6. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to look at how are they changing. To go from 5 to 6, we're adding 1. And from 4 to 6, we're adding 2. So that means my slope is the change in y over the change in x. Well, the y is changing by adding 1. My x is changing by adding 2, so 1/2. Okay, so that's my slope, is 1/2. Now, step number 3. Now, guys, it turns into exactly what we did yesterday. We plug in the slope and 1 point into point slope form. So remember, point slope form is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Wow, if my Chromebook will let me write today. There we go. Okay, and so we're just going to plug all that in. And look, we already have our points labeled. So we just pick that first point. If you pick the second point, guys, you will get the same exact answer. If you don't believe me, pick the second point. See if you get the same answer, because I promise you will. No matter what point you use, you'll get the same answer. So we're going to plug everything in. So I'll have y minus, my y1 was 5, equals 1/2, because that's my slope. And then in parentheses, x minus my x1, which was 4. Okay, so that was step 3. Step number 4 is now we're just going to rearrange into slope-intercept form, which remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to start by distributing the 1/2. We'll get y minus 5 is equal to half of x, and then 1/2 times a negative 4 gives me a negative 2. And then we're going to add the 5 over, And we'll get y is equal to 1/2 x. Negative 2 plus 5 gives me plus 3. And that's going to be the equation of our line. If I were to graph this, okay, my graph is going to look, we start at 3. My slope is a positive 1/2. So I go up 1 and over 2. Oops. It's going to look about like this. And if I were to graph this on an actual grid, you would be able to find the points 4, 5, and 6, 6 on this graph. Okay, so that's a quick way to check your work. Graph it, make sure your 2 points are on that line. Okay. Guys, you could also graph the 2 points like this and then kind of figure it out from there too. That's also an option. I just think this way is a little bit faster. Alrighty, so we're going to do a few examples. Then we're going to do some review on the back and be good to go. So looking at number 1, okay, we're going to be writing the equation given these 2 points. So 1, 5 and 2, 3. So step 1, we're going to label our points. This is very important if you're using your slope formula. Okay, so now we're going to find our slope. Remember, I like the table. If you're using the slope formula, that's totally fine. So 1, 5 and 2, 3. So to go from 5 to 3, we're subtracting 2. And 1 to 2, we're adding 1. So remember, it's the change in my y over the change in my x, so negative 2 over 1, which reduces to negative 2. Make sure you reduce your fractions, guys. So that's going to be my slope. That's my m. Now we're going to write the equation of the line using the slope and 1 point. Okay, so we can pick any point. I'm just going to pick the first one, but if you pick the second one, totally fine. So remember, we're given a slope and a point, so we need to use point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m and then x minus x1. So we're going to plug everything in. My y1 is 5. So I have y minus 5 is equal to my slope, which was negative 2. And then x minus my x1, which was 1. All right. And then now we just need to rearrange the equation into slope-intercept form. So we're going to distribute that negative 2. So we'll get y minus 5 equals negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 1 gives me plus 2. Then we're going to add the 5 over. That'll cancel, and we'll get y is equal to negative 2x. 2 plus 5 gives me plus 7. Alrighty. If you have any questions, please make sure you're asking. We're going to do another one. Okay, so we're going to start by finding the slope. We have our x1 and y1, x2 and y2. I like the table, but if you're using the slope formula, totally okay. So we'll have negative 2, 3, and 4, 0. To go from 3 to 0, we are subtracting 3. Negative 2 to 4, we're adding 6. We're going from a negative number up to a positive number, so that's why it's a big jump. So my slope is going to be the change in y over the change in x, so negative 3 over 6, which you have to reduce to negative 1/2. So now we're going to plug all this into point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. Okay, we're going to just plug it all in. So my x1, or I guess we're not there yet, are we? So I have y minus my y1, which is 3, equals my slope, which was negative 1/2, and then x minus my x1, which was negative 2. Now remember, anytime we subtract a negative number, that's where we make this a plus sign, okay? When we subtract a negative number, we're really adding. So instead of minus a negative number, we write it as just plus 2. So now we're going to rearrange into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to distribute the 1/2, or negative 1/2. So I have y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 times x gives me negative 1/2 x. And negative 1/2 times a positive 2, okay? Well, that's going to make it a negative, well, half of 2 is just 1. Now we're going to add the 3 over. And we'll get y is equal to negative 1/2 x. Negative 1 plus 3 gives me plus 2. Alrighty, if you have any questions about the front page, please make sure you're asking. Guys, if you have a problem like this on your homework, you have to show me this whole process. Okay, if your process doesn't take this many steps, then you probably did it wrong. Okay, just being honest. Okay, so please make sure that you are plugging everything in and you are finding all the pieces. If you're jumping from here all the way down to here in like one step, you're probably not doing it right. Okay, so please make sure you're, and this is not a challenge just to be like, oh, I can do it, Mrs. Mariani. Nope, this is not a challenge. Please just show me all your work, okay, and you'll be good to go. All right, look at the next page. All right. Oh, wow, we have another one. Awesome. So, number 3 says the data shown on the table represents a linear relationship. Write the equation of the line in point slope form. Okay, so first we're going to find the slope. Okay, this is already in a table, so that's awesome. To go from 3 to 5, we're adding 2. And 1 to 2, we're adding 1. So remember, it's the change in our y or the change in our x. So my slope is going to be 2 over 1, which I reduce to 2. Okay, so from here, we're going to rewrite this as an equation. Okay, so we're going to start with point slope form. Remember, all of these are points. So this is a point. So 1, 3 is a point. 2, 5 is a point. So I could label this like x1 and y1, x2 and y2. This is my third point, so x3 and y3. This is my fourth point, so x4 and y4. Okay, so I could write those. I could label all those points if I wanted. I really only care about one point. You can pick any of these points and you'll get the same answer every single time. I promise. Okay, so we're just going to pick any random point. Doesn't matter which one we pick. I'm going to pick this one. Okay, if you already started the problem and you picked 1, 3, you're going to get the same answer. Okay, so I'm going to pick 4, 9. I'm going to plug them into my equation. So I have y minus my y is a 9 is equal to my slope, which was 2, and then x minus my x, which is 4. So now I'm going to distribute and rewrite this in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to distribute the 2. So y minus 9 equals 2 times x gives me 2x. 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8. I'm going to add the 9 over. Don't mind the clock, guys. So I'll get y is equal to 2x. Negative 8 plus 9 gives me plus 1. Well, if you guys have never heard of grandfather clock, you can hear the grandfather clock in the background. Just letting me know what time it is. All right, looking at number 4, you've seen this problem a lot, hey, which is probably means that you're going to have to do this problem at some point. Okay, so looking at number 4, it says determine the slope of each function. This is the table. Guys, we've been doing tables all day. So we check to see how it's changing. To go from negative 3 to 3, we're adding 6. 3 to 1, we're subtracting 2. So it's always the change in my y or the change in my x. So it's going to be 6 over negative 2, which reduces to negative 3. That's a really steep one. If I were to graph this, it would probably look like this. Okay, it's nice and steep. And it's going down, okay, because it's a negative slope. The next one, if I give you a graph, we have to check the rise or the run. So we're going to find 2 good points. Here's a good point, and here's a good point. So my rise is I'm going up 2 over my run, which is 1. Okay, so 2 divided by 1 gives me 2. So my slope here is 2. So far, this one's steeper because 3, if I look at just the absolute value, I make it all positive, 3 is bigger than 2. And last but not least, okay, this I gave you in standard form. So that means we're going to solve for y. We want to get that y all by itself, so then we can look at it in y equals mx plus b. Maybe. Wow, that was really ugly. Sometimes my Chromebook doesn't want to let me write. Oops, switch colors. That's okay. So y equals mx plus b. So we're going to solve for y, just like this is solved for y. So we're going to subtract the 3x. That cancels. So I have negative 4y is equal to, I can't combine these because they're not like terms. So negative 3x plus 12. Now I still have that negative 4 with a y. So I'm going to divide out the negative 4. Those will cancel. Now I have y is equal to negative 3 divided by negative 4. The negatives go away, they cancel out, but the numbers don't reduce. So it's just going to be 3/4 x. And then 12 divided by negative 4 gives me negative 3. The slope is the one with the x. Okay, don't get that tripped up. Okay, so my slope here is 3/4. Which one is the steepest? It's still going to be the 3 because that's obviously bigger than 3/4. So which function has a steeper slope? Function 1. Alrighty. Last but not least, we got some matching. Guys, you will have to be able to do this matching. Okay. So looking at a few of these, guys, you always want to start with the ones that look like y equals mx plus b. That's always where you want to start. Okay. Those are going to be the easiest ones to work with. So that's going to be b is 1. So for b, my y-intercept is 0, 4. My slope here is 2. Since my slope is positive, that means it needs to be going up. That's all I really probably need to know to find my answer. So first we look which ones are going through positive 4. That's my y-intercept. Oh, it looks like all of them are. Aren't I tricky? I did not make this one easy today. Okay, so all of them go through positive 4. So that means we don't really care what the y-intercepts are because they're all going to be the same. This one, though, says my slope is positive 2. So I first need to find which ones are going up. Well, this one's going up, so it could be this one. This one's also going up, so it could be this one. So now we need to check our rise over our run. The first one, if I check my rise over my run, these are 2 good points. So I go up 1, and I run 1, 2. So 1/2 is going to be my slope. Well, we said this one had a slope of 2, so I can't be that one. So let's check this one just to make sure. Find 2 good points. I'm going up 2, and I run 1. So it's going to be 2 over 1, which reduces to a positive 2. So hey, this one is going to be a match. Alrighty, awesome. The next one that's in slope-intercept form pretty much is C, y equals 4 plus 1/2 x. Okay, remember the slope is the one with the x, so my slope is 1/2. My y-intercept here is still 4, 0, 4. So this is a positive slope, okay, so it should be going up. Well, the only other one that goes up, okay, is this one, and we already found the slope was 1/2, so we know that has to be C. All right, continuing on. Now we're just going to start at the beginning and do some rearranging. So if I look at letter A, we have 2x plus y equals 4. Guys, this is a really easy one to rearrange. Okay, all we have to do is subtract the 2x over. That'll cancel, and I'll have y is equal to, these aren't like terms, so I can't combine them, so I just write it as negative 2x plus 4. My slope here is a negative 2. So I need to find which one of these graphs has a slope of negative 2. So I check the first one, find 2 good points. Okay, so remember you read a graph like you read a book, so this way. So from left to right. So we're going to go down 1, 2, so negative 2, and run 1. And if I reduce that, my slope is going to be, I wrote that too close, so my slope is going to be negative 2. Okay, and look, that's what we wanted, was a slope of negative 2. So this is going to be A. And then last but not least, okay, our last one is going to be D. This is where we would find or get the y by itself, just like we did up here. Okay, so we're going to subtract the 2x over. That'll cancel. I'll have 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 16. And then we're going to divide out the 4. So I'll get y is equal to 1, or negative 2 divided by 4 gives me negative 1/2 x plus 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. And that matches. Alrighty, guys, if you have any questions, please make sure you're asking. Okay? If not, you can move on to your assignment.